الله الرحمن الرحيم أم تسألهم أجرا فهم من مغرم مثقلون أم عندهم الغيب فهم يكتبون أم يريدون كيدا فالذين كفروا هم المكيدون أم لهم إله غير الله سبحان الله عما يشركون وإن يروا كسفا من السماء ساقطا يقولوا سحاب مركوم فذرهم حتى يلاقوا يومهم الذي فيه يصعقون يوم لا يغني عنهم كيدهم شيئا ولا هم ينصرون وإن للذين ظلموا عذابا دون ذلك ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون واصبر لحكم ربك فإنك بأعيننا وسبح بحمد ربك حين تقوم ومن الليل فسبحه وإدبار النجوم. Continue the passage which we left off from Surah At-Toor last week. This is the last part of Surah At-Toor, and these had to do with the discussion is about the responses of the disbelievers to the Anbiya alayhim salatu wasalam, and specifically to our Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, and what the response of our Prophet alayhi salam should be. Because this isn't, the passage is not just to tell us that the disbelievers said this, but this is what the disbelievers said. What should be one who is rightly guided? What should their response be? What should the rightly guided being's response be? So this is regarding the ethical engagement of the Messenger ﷺ with the community. And so there were a series of things that Allah Ta'ala is referring to regarding the statements of the disbelievers. And we were at ayah number 41, in which Allah Ta'ala says, أَمْ تَسْأَلُهُمْ أَجْرًا فَهُمْ مِنْ مَغْرَمٍ مُثْقَلُونَ. That is the reason that they're disbelieving in you, is that you ask of them payment for this message or profit, such that they shall be overburdened with debt, wherefore they disbelieve. Meaning, as the Anbiya alayhim salatu wasalam came and with their message of da'wah, and their sincerity to that, and they did not قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا, rather they were told to say, I do not ask you for any recompense. In أَجْرِيَ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ, my reward is only upon Allah Ta'ala, that will come to me from Allah. So have you done so that's a reason why they're disbelieving in you? All of these questions to say that did this happen or did that happen, we passed so many. أَمْ عِنْدَهُمْ خَزَائِنُ أَمْ هُمُ الْمُسَيْطِرُونَ أَمْ لَهُمْ سُلَّمٌ أَمْ خُلِقُوا أَمْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاءَ, or did this happen, or did that happen, or did they do this, or is it because of this? This isn't to say that the conclusion of this will be coming soon. This isn't to say you can do whatever you want, O Prophet of Allah ﷺ, but at the end of the day, guidance is for the one that Allah Ta'ala has written it for. Right? And these are just excuses. Right? These are the excuses of the one that wants to disbelieve, that they will put forward. So, excuse after excuses can be mentioned here, but that's not the problem. The problem is that they don't want to accept the message. And so, as it will come later in the passage, even if the sky were to fall upon them over as a adab, they'll make an excuse for that as well. They won't actually believe what's happening to them. So, أَمْ تَسْأَلُهُمْ أَجْرًا فَهُمْ مِنْ مَغْرَمٍ مُثْقَلُونَ. So out of the debt, they're now overburdened. Have they been overburdened by some sort of debt that you're asking them of? أَمْ عِنْدَهُمُ الْغَيْبُ فَهُمْ يَكْتُبُونَ. Or have they hold of the realm of the unseen, such that they may write down whatever destiny they please. Now, is it that they know the unseen and you don't? Is that the reason why? Do they have access to the unseen? Do they have access to something that you don't know? O Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. Is that why they're not believing? That's not either the reason. They do not have access to the unseen without you. You are the only channel that they have to the unseen. They do not know anything besides what you could teach them because of your access to the realm of the unseen. So is it perhaps that they have access to the unseen and they're writing down the taqdeer, they understand the fate, they understand the things that are taking place in the world of the unseen? Am yuriduna kaida? Or do they indeed intend a plot against you, O Prophet? فَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا هُمُ الْمَكِيدُونَ. Rather, it is those who disbelieve who have themselves been outplotted by God, outplotted by Allah. Now this is a very beautiful statement. Why? A very beautiful ayah. Because when people try to attempt to plot against Allah, then it always comes back in their neck. Right? As it was the dua of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, that, "Oh Allah, return the plot of those who are plotting in their necks." Right? It always returns back to them. So they think they're perhaps plotting against you, and they will plan whatever they can plan. But at the end of the day, that plan will only turn around against them. It will only bite them. فَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا هُمُ الْمَكِيدُونَ. In reality, those who are plotting, the disbelievers who are plotting against the Anbiya ﷺ and against ultimately Allah Azza wa Jal, the plan will only turn back against them. أَمْ لَهُمْ إِلَهٌ غَيْرُ اللَّهِ. Or do they genuinely have a Lord other than Allah? Is there a being of worship genuinely besides Allah that's there, right? That they're worshipping? Subhanallah amma yushrikun. Highly exalted is Allah. Highly exalted is Allah, far above all that they associate. So whatever they associate to Allah, that's not true. Even if they act like it is, if they found another God, but there is no partner that can be associated to Allah. Allah is above this, Allah is pure from this. وَإِن يَرَوْا كِسْفًا مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ سَاقِطًا يَقُولُوا سَحَابٌ مَرْكُومٌ. Now Allah Azza wa Jalla is explaining what is their nature, what is their disposition. That indeed were they themselves to see their approaching doom in a deadly patch of the sky set to drop down upon them, they would yet say it is just piled up clouds of rain to quench us. That whatever happens, whatever is sent by Allah, they will misinterpret it. They will misunderstand it. They will not understand its true realities. So if Allah Ta'ala, وَإِن يَرَوْا كِسْفًا مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ سَاقِطًا, if they saw a part of the sky about to fall over them, which would be the cause of their doom, they would say, سَحَابٌ مَرْكُومٌ يَقُولُوا سَحَابٌ مَرْكُومٌ. They would say, this is just the rain clouds coming over each other, right? Markum. The rain clouds piling up over each other, and this will bring us rain, right? So they'll misinterpret and misunderstand the entire situation. So the disbeliever only sees what he wants to see. The disbeliever only sees what he wants to see. Will not see what the Messenger ﷺ is bringing to them, or what doors of the unseen Allah Ta'ala is trying to open to them through the channels of the Anbiya ﷺ. They only see what they want to see. So even the adab of Allah, they will misinterpret it. They will misunderstand it. فَذَرْهُمْ حَتَّى يُلَاقُوا يَوْمَهُمُ الَّذِي فِيهِ يُصْعَقُونَ. So then, now the passage is changing. Right? So now this all had to do with before the passage had to do with the excuses of the disbelievers and the things that they would say to the Messenger ﷺ. And now what is the response that the Nabi ﷺ should have? And how should he react? How should a noble and rightly guided person react to such responses, react to such actions of the disbelievers. So the Messenger ﷺ is told, فَذَرْهُمْ حَتَّى يُلَاقُوا يَوْمَهُمُ الَّذِي فِيهِ يُصْعَقُونَ. So leave them, O Prophet, until they meet their fated day, wherein they are struck down, يُصْعَقُونَ. Right? When the adhab will come over them like the thunder, let them meet that day of their fate themselves. Right? So your responsibility is to give them the da'wah, and beyond that, then it's on them. Why is this being said? Because the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, we know our Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam specifically, that he would go continuously to the disbelievers and he would try, right? So much so that he would exert himself as much as he could to try to guide the people. But this would take a toll on the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, number one. Number two, his job is only to give advice to them, to give da'wah to them. That's the obligation, the wajib upon the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Beyond that, he's being told now, leave them. Right? Now leave them. فَذَرْهُمْ حَتَّى يُلَاقُوا يَوْمَهُمُ الَّذِي فِيهِ يُصْعَقُونَ. Leave them and do not argue with them, or do not exert yourself to a degree that then you will start to respond to them the way they are responding to you. This is the point of leave them. So one should never involve himself in a way. Sometimes a person emotionally, personally involves themselves in a discussion so much so that then they start also responding the way the disbeliever or the way the first person is responding and reacting. Do not react, O Prophet of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam. يَوْمَ لَا يُغْنِي عَنْهُمْ كَيْدُهُمْ شَيْئًا وَلَا هُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. Let them, leave them for that day. Which day? The day when their plotting shall not avail them in anything, nor will they ever be helped against Allah. Their plotting will not benefit them in any way. The plotting that they did in this world will not benefit them, and they will not gain any help from anywhere. The only place of help that you can get is from Allah Ta'ala. They will not have access to the help of Allah. وَإِنَّ لِلَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا عَذَابًا دُونَ ذَلِكَ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Yet there shall be indeed for all those who do wrong to themselves by unbelief a torment coming in life besides this, though most of them do not know it. وَإِنَّ لِلَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا, that surely for those who do wrong is a punishment beyond this. دُونَ ذَلِكَ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. But most of them don't understand, most of them don't know. وَاصْبِرْ لِحُكْمِ رَبِّكَ. This is very important. That, O Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and these guidelines then extend to the entire ummah, specifically in the area of da'wah, and specifically in the model which the Muslims are supposed to follow in prophetic character. What is the prophetic character? وَاصْبِرْ لِحُكْمِ رَبِّكَ. Be patient, O Prophet, with your Lord's decree to deliver His message. When you're doing this job of da'wah, when you're being a Muslim, when you're trying to be ethically upright, do not engage the way the disbelievers engage in any area. Right? Do not engage with them in any sort of financial transaction, in any sort of ethical behavior, in any sort of reaction, in any sort of argument or fight. Do not engage with them the same way that they're doing it. Rather, be patient and wait for Allah's decree. Because if you are in sync with what Allah Ta'ala wants, and you are doing what you're doing to please Him, then it will definitely be decided in your favor. It doesn't matter what the disbelievers do, or how the people of Batil try to plot against you. Their plot will only turn against themselves, and things will tip into your favor. For believers, things will tip into their favor, but they have to be in sync with Allah. This is the key. وَاصْبِرْ لِحُكْمِ رَبِّكَ. that you have to be in sync with Allah Ta'ala's decree. You have to be patient. فَإِنَّكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا, for you are ever under the care of our watchful eyes. فَإِنَّكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا, the Messenger ﷺ is under the care of Allah Ta'ala. Under the care of Allah Ta'ala. From every aspect, Allah Ta'ala is overwatching the Nabi ﷺ, helping him, guiding him. فَإِنَّكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا, you are surely under the care of our watchful eyes. وَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ حِينَ تَقُومُ, so exalt your Lord with all praise whenever you arise. Now this is the very important channel, right? A lot of times when we are trying to bring change within society, whether it is through our da'wah, whether it is through humanitarian work, right? We want to do something for people who are facing difficult times. There's natural disaster, we want to help them. There's issues in the climate of, politics amongst the Muslims. Muslims do not have help. Any area which we want to help the Muslims in, we need to be in sync with the world of the unseen. You cannot just do things in the humanitarian world. You cannot just give da'wah. You cannot just want the Muslim ummah to rise. You cannot just want the Muslim ummah to financially, economically be better if you're not in sync with the world of the unseen. Which is, how do you be in sync with Allah Ta'ala? By making ibadah. So your ibadah is going to help you in all of this. You want to bring change to society, you have to speak to the frequency of the angels which Allah Ta'ala sends. The frequency of the angels is what? It's your salah, it's your dhikr. So the angels listen to that. The angels come down and they give you aid because of that. Allah Ta'ala sends the angels to aid you in your worldly affairs when you're speaking the frequency of the people of the unseen, the beings of the unseen. What is that? That is salah, that is the dhikr. So if you want the help of Allah Ta'ala, then don't forget that you cannot just do things in society, you also need to make ibadah at night. That's the وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَسَبِّحُوا وَإِدْبَارَ النُّجُومِ, and this is the last ayah of Surah At-Toor. And during part of the night, highly exalt Him with all glory, and at the receding of the stars. Meaning, standing in your tahajjud, standing in your salah, making the dhikr of Allah Ta'ala, this does have an effect on society. Right? To think that this will not have an effect, right? This is actually what's missing. This is actually what's missing. This needs to be done. That with your efforts, you are making the dhikr of the tasbih of Allah Ta'ala. You're making the tasbih of Allah Ta'ala. You are praying, you are doing your salah, you are asking Allah Ta'ala for aid, and then it is in those circumstances that Allah Ta'ala will aid you and put benefit in your sabr and put benefit in your da'wah. And with that, alhamdulillah, we conclude with Surah At-Toor. Overall, the summary is that in Surah At-Toor, Allah Ta'ala speaks about wahi and revelation. Right? So the beginning having to do with the oath of Tur, right? Mount Tur, which is a place of revelation. Right? Wa kitab al-mastur, right? Revelation. So the beginning and the end both have to do with the revelation to the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, and how the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has to be in regards to his engagement with his community. So it really beautifully ties in from the beginning all the way to the end of how the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has to be and how he has to act with his community. And the other passages had to do with the hereafter, the people of Jannah and the people of Jahannam, right? As well as then the ways of the people of Batil towards the end, concluding with the guidelines to the Nabi ﷺ and the entire ummah of how they should be ethically engaging with society and how they have to build their character upon a better response to those around them, and ibadah and worship and being patient. And with that, alhamdulillah, we conclude with Surah At-Toor. Inshallah, next week we'll move on to Surah An-Najm. which is also a very then important surah related to wahi, related to revelation. So this will tie perfectly into that. We ask Allah Ta'ala that He grant us understanding of His word and forgive us for our shortcomings in attempting to understand His perfect word, and He give us the ability to practice this. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Sadaqallahu al-azim. Subhanallah bihamdihi. Subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Inshallah there's breakfast in the hall for everyone. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum.